y'all, welcome back to Key is King. Today we'll be getting into the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 17, aka the first episode of the reunion. It's a 3-part reunion and we are in for a treat. Although the first, I must say, the first episode gave me some stuff, but it was kind of giving me boring, I feel like, compared to the rest of the season. With that being said, it was a very good season, as we all know. But I was kind of checked out of Housewives last week. So I am probably like maybe a week or so behind. But I literally didn't even write notes when I first watched this. I had to like rewrite my notes and try to. But nonetheless, we are here. I'm going to end the season strong because it deserves it. The ladies obviously have their little backstage moments when they're arriving and all that shit. Don't really care about that stuff though. As they're walking out in their dresses, some of them are walking like they hurt. Some of them are walking like they have never like had heels on before. I was like, girls, are we okay? I mean, Heather was one of those people, and she's mentioned a few times that she was on book tour leading up to the reunion, so okay. But still. But everyone arrives, they're all looking good. Angie, so I just love her. I want to call her iconic so bad because I believe she is. So Angie's iconic. She sits down and she's like, from bench warming bitch to first chair next to Andy. And that's right. That's how you do it. I still believe Mary should have been in Lisa's seat, but what the fuck ever. They kept their little clique on all one couch, so that makes sense as well. But everyone's arriving. They're talking about, apparently Angie and Brittany were the same dress at the reunion, but Angie won because, of course. But they're going around, they're setting their intentions, Andy's having their little openers. A couple things I just want to mention quickly is that Whitney, and just like her cousin Heather, who's so done with being Mormon, is so excommunicated and is such a stripper or has a stripper pole and all this stuff. Shirley loves to name her jewelry Sacred Cross, I believe is her new line. That's not Alibaba. But just like, why are you so obsessed with like religious phrasing, wording? Yes, I get that you're like, even making crosses, I guess, but like, I've never seen such a group of people that claim to be distanced and hate something so much, but always reference to it any chance they get. Like, that's just such an eye roll for me. It's like, okay, alright. And I also want to mention that right off the bat, Bronwyn is very, she's using her Whitney voice today. Mind you, I know this is the reunion, this is her first reunion, this is her first season, but she's been ooh child, woo child, this, that, the third, ride your dick all season, big bad wolf, and is coming very meek and kind of timid. And I'm going to need her to get her energy right. I was like, okay. Like, it was wild to me. It almost feels as if Bronwyn came to the reunion not knowing she would have to talk about the season. If that makes sense. Like, she seems very confused about the process all of a sudden. I was at a loss with Bronwyn to start this reunion off. But she got what we're going to call the Heather treatment, the Heather first season treatment, aka Rihanna DM'd her and followed her on Instagram. A, Heather's pissed and seething and is a hater. But 2, that's probably going to do, like, I feel like Bronwyn and Heather, the more I take a step back and look at it, are on very similar trajectories. Like, they give parallel vibes the more I look at them. I'm going to leave that one there for now. But Bronwyn setting an intention, well, before they really get into intentions, Andy establishes a safe word between Angie and Lisa because he's in the middle of them. Oppa is Angie's and Bezos, I think, was Lisa's. This was not a good time for Lisa, by the way. But they're getting their intentions. Bronwyn wants to, like, essentially respond to everything that she's been seeing on the playbacks. And Whitney is, of course, trying to set an intention to fix things with Lisa. And Lisa's just like, okay. So the first package essentially starts with the Lisa and Angie thing because we know they had their drama, their beef throughout the season. I love that the first question of the reunion was from Connecticut. I was just like, okay. Anytime they mention their fake questions and they mention Connecticut, I'm like, another point for Connecticut. Not that we really need a point or I really fucking care, but it's just It's always nice to hear a place you're from on like a national platform, in my opinion. But they get into, the package starts with Angie and Lisa, then it gets into Whitney a little bit because of the Alibaba of it all, which Meredith gets pulled into that. So as the package closes, it's Whitney versus Lisa, and they're going back and forth about the jewelry. Essentially, Whitney's mad because Lisa brought it on to TV and like increased the eyes and the attention to it. Lisa claimed it was going to get out anyway. It was on a blog. They were trying to say it was on one specific blog. Lisa was trying to refute that. But that leads to Meredith and Whitney just fucking arguing about Alibaba, and Meredith like trying to harm her business and all this stuff. And Meredith was like, I wasn't talking to you, so I didn't tell you directly, because that was one of Whitney's like gripes. But she was like, I made sure you found out, because she told messy ass Heather, and she knew Heather would say, like, which she's not wrong. Facts are facts. So Meredith is like, I let you know, I made sure you found out. But Whitney was very mad. She claims that the Alibaba picture was a placeholder for her real product picture because her other partner and photographer are in Canada, which I don't know time zones well, so cricket me to death, but like, I'm just gonna believe her that that's a different time zone, because she wouldn't have said that otherwise. I hope Whitney's not that dumb. But yeah, so Whitney had a reason why she had Alibaba pictures, but that's not her product picture, whatever. And with that theory, though, like somebody was just watching her page for 48 hours or happened. I mean, I guess that could happen. So, okay. But they had this whole argument about that, and Whitney, I guess, and Meredith just hate each other forever. I don't know if there was any real resolve there. But then we get into the blogger that introduced all of this information to the group. Baby, Whitney, moral of this story is Whitney didn't have proof, essentially. And she claims that she got the proof from him because Lisa was like, I should send you my cybersecurity guy's bill. Like, and they were trying to press Lisa to like, okay, so you said you were going to go the distance on it. What happened? And she's like, Whitney never gave me any of the evidence that she claimed she had. She never gave me any information, any material to work with. So, Whitney, little girl, you look like a little fool after this because what happened? What happened, Whitney? So we kind of move back to Angie and Lisa a little bit and get into their storyline. Angie's comments about Lisa's mothering, which she didn't really talk about her mothering. She just said that her kid wasn't up late playing video games in her room, which is a fact. So, but they get involved to the fact, or they get Heather involved because she was the messy one that went back, kind of made Angie's message vague. She added a little sauce. Is now the official like Bravo term for that, thanks to Potomac, I'm pretty sure. So they are really kind of trying to get into Heather, and Heather's really doing her best to defend herself. Heather doesn't really have a leg to stand on. She barely has a voice to speak with, which I wish it would have all been gone for this reunion, quite frankly. But she was just saying how she was trying to defend and be loyal to her fresh new friendship with Lisa, who she's known Angie since like high school, I think it was. But she just was trying to suck Lisa's dick so much that she just threw Angie under the bus, and that was kind of her justification, which is a shitty justification. And Angie was trying to give her all of the like understanding in the world, and like, I know what Heather was doing. I mean, mind you, she says she does know her the best, and she's always wanted to sit at the cool girls table. So, okay. Makes sense. I wasn't feeling it though. I was not feeling it though. But thanks to the assist from Heather, we now are having the screaming match of Angie and Lisa, which leads to their safe words, which barely worked right off bat. So, Andy, strategy, I don't know if you're going to do this the rest of the reunion. You might want to switch it up. Because it was hard. Because Lisa she just blacks out. She's one of those people that is so emotionally not well that anytime she hears anything that does not align with her internal dialogue, she like emotionally like spirals and blacks out. I can't do people like that for real. Like, if you cannot handle yourself when you hear something that you do not agree with, like just lose control and meltdown, you need medication probably. as I always say, therapy and a hug. I won't even do as much as medication, although I've already said it. Therapy and a hug. That's what you need. Because, my God, baby. She is like, I say it all the time, great housewife, trash human. Trash human. But after the safe words have been yelled and exchanged, it reveals that Angie was still at this point kind of talking to Meredith because they were going back and forth about the most ridiculous shit. The way these women just jump between fights is just so mind-boggling. Like, even with notes sometimes, it's so hard to keep up because these women are sporadically just messy. But in the midst of like arguing with Lisa and safe words, Angie and Meredith start going at it about their situation a little bit. And Meredith apparently did some interviewing, called Angie a backup dancer. My God. So as the drama keeps transferring, Lisa looks at Bronwyn because Angie and Bronwyn are talking, or she kind of inserted a couple of her opinions, Bronwyn did. And Lisa's like, Bronwyn, she wants to talk now. Look, wants to get involved. And Bronwyn's like, I have words. You want to go, Lisa? I can go. Like, da-da-da-da-da. Just madness. Literally madness. But that leads to all that Heather stuff I mentioned, and Meredith and Angie having just the most ridiculous argument about Angie being in Jen Shah's WAP video as a backup dancer. Meredith did some interview responding to Angie, which apparently Lisa said mazel to, which caused Angie to like go on a Twitter rant against Lisa and mention that her car got repossessed and all this other shit that she heard from Bronwyn at dinner. But Meredith and Angie's argument was so ridiculous because Angie technically was playing a backup role in this TikTok WAP whatever video it was, and Meredith pointed it out, and Angie was just like, I've been solo since I was 6 years old, which I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that's when Angie's mom died, but the fact that she was like, I've been solo since I was 6, and Andy for the life of him could not figure out why they were arguing about this and what the significance was. It was like TV cinema. It was crazy. It was not even crazy, it was just so funny, and it was just ridiculous that they were passionately fighting about this WAP video. And that Angie, like the whole moral of Angie's story is that you were taking a dig at me whether you want to play semantics or not, and Meredith is like, you were literally a backup dancer. And Angie was like, I can't even dance. It was so stupid. That's what Housewives needs. That's what it needs. Just the stupidity, the entertainment, the audacity, and the caucasity in most situations. Just like, what? Imagine getting paid to have this argument. You can't tell me that's not a dream come true. You can't tell me. But the mentioning of repossession of cars via Angie by way of Bronwyn, who literally threw Angie under the bus and said, Lisa, your beef is not with me in that regard. Angie tweeted that your car got repossessed to the world. Talk to Angie. If I was Angie, I would have been like, bitch, you told me this shit. What do you mean talk to Angie? I don't care if I said it out loud or not. You told me. That's a problem. Like... But that led everyone to talk about Bronwyn, money, the correlation, made them bring up her necklace. And Andy was like, oh, I'm surprised you didn't wear your necklace, your $4 million necklace that you showed on the show. Bronwyn, for the first time since I've seen her, outside of her husband shit, was shaky as a leaf in autumn. Bronwyn, is that you? What is going on? Shaky as a bitch. And she claims that she got a smaller version, side-eye one. Then she got a couple rings and some earrings, side-eye. Because, okay, red flags going up. To make a long story short, Lisa calls her out for not buying any of it because the jeweler that she had on TV, she being Bronwyn, reached out to Lisa and was just like, what is wrong with your friend Bronwyn? What is happening? Bronwyn, her response, the way she was like kind of asking questions instead of really answering shit, she was being very vague, like, I thought about wearing it to like shut people up, and then it went from I thought about wearing the necklace when Andy asked about it to almost immediately she got a smaller version of it, to Lisa being like, you didn't get any of it, to Bronwyn being like, well, why would she text you about my jewelry? Not even really denying it at first. Like, everything about it read that Baby Gorgeous was correct in this moment. Still a garbage person, but can be right sometimes. Follow me. And I believe it. And apparently on Watch What Happens Live, Bronwyn explained that she did not buy the jewelry. I did not even research it. I just saw a little thumbnail. Because if that's true, she can go fuck herself. No. Nope. No. So the jury's still out about that. I guess I'll research it after. Maybe I should have done it before this video. But I am not a housewife scientist. Well, low-key I am. I'm not an investigative journalist for real, so one day I'll know. But I was just like, the whole moment had me pause, and all the other women were trying to like help Bronwyn, like, why would the jeweler wouldn't do that, would she? And then it turned out to, if she did do it, that's bad business. I would never work with her. As Lisa's producing the text of this woman going off about Bronwyn, which of course Andy read out loud, for the most part. And Bronwyn just had nothing to say. She's like, I'll have to talk to her about that. You're lying. Lie on. So I was like, ooh, Lisa got her. But Bronwyn has a trump card. No pun intended. I know we are in sensitive times. But Bronwyn had an ace up her sleeve. And a legitimate one. That opens the reunion up to Bronwyn's package of the newbie on the scene with so much to fucking say and so much drama to put herself in the middle of. But they start with the fact that she and Lisa were friends and clearly had one of the biggest beefs out of the entire season. Like, literally the entire season. I was gonna say their first share together, but Bronwyn wishes. She's third chair. Mary in her fucking dress that is eating her alive. I think that necklace is what's really doing it. It's like a big gold neck. She looks like she's being swallowed. But one of the first things they get into is that Bronwyn realized after filming that she was a surface friend with Lisa, and she thought that they were much closer than they were, and that she really put Lisa on this pedestal that Lisa didn't really deserve. And Lisa confirmed that she was social friends with Bronwyn, that they were not ingrained in each other's lives, and that she saw her socially and liked her from a distance. So Bronwyn had to eat that, which she was making all of her ugly, strained faces during all of this, and I need to stop doing that shit, because Lord knows. Nope. Not gonna say, I just need to stop. Okay. But so Bronwyn's doing all her shit and the dramatics, but we get into Heather's kind of first impression of Bronwyn, and Heather was just like, I thought I knew exactly who you were and how you felt. And it sounded like the first time you got a chance to or the first time I heard of you telling or being around somebody was a completely different story and tone. Which Whitney did confirm that she looked at that clip and was like, oh damn, like this was definitely a different tone. And Bronwyn did admit to the fact that she was trying to chase Lisa because she felt that she had a deeper connection with Lisa and wanted to fix it. And she was always running to fix it, and that she kind of like, the relationships that were forming could have been formed and were happening around her. So Whitney accepts it. She said she totally understands that, and she like forgives and forgets essentially. Lucky for Bronwyn, but guess who does not? Lisa Barlow. Because we get into some like real life serious ass shit, and this is why I say Lisa is a trash person, because the theme of this whole situation with Bronwyn is a repeat theme for Lisa and proves that she cares more about what the fuck she thinks and feels more than anybody else on this earth, including her husband, which I will get into right now. Actually, before I even get into that, they did make a pit stop at Heather and her weight loss, because after they talked about Bronwyn and Heather and her first impression, because Heather was just on one from the beginning, which she ended up kind of being right, unfortunately, but they did talk about the scene when Heather went to Bronwyn's house and there was just dog shit everywhere. But she went in there on some, like, Heather, that being, went in there on some, like, victim fucking shit, in my opinion, and just really was like, you came here to, like, never invite me on the trip, which he is still, like doubling down on. She claims Bronwyn is never going to invite her on the couples trip, which is just such a victim-y fucking mindset. But Heather is just convinced Bronwyn was never going to invite her. It just gets into this whole thing about Heather and how since she lost, because one of the viewer questions was like, you lost weight and like you're mean now. And so Heather claims that she was meaner when she was fatter because she had so much to fight through and fight against and had to be cute in a room full of like skinny, beautiful women. But she said she's happier with herself now. She's more confident in herself. Or less confident. She said the show strips her of her confidence. So she likes herself more. She's, I guess, less confident too. But it's this whole thing. But Mary actually co-signs the fact that Heather loves herself more and is just like kind of feeling herself more. And if she wants to be mean, then like let her be mean. Which I guess that's Mary trying to like stay true to her new allegiance or friendship with Heather, I should say. But I was like, okay, Mary, don't co-sign her too much with your choking, swallowing ass dress and necklace. Like, calm down. But then we get into Gwen's dad, and why Lisa and all that shit that I was talking before is about to become really relevant. Because, and let me start off by saying, I tried to talk about investigative journalism, and not journaling, but investigative journalism. My God, today. I tried to look up this man. There's no information at all about the baby daddy, allegedly. Like, I found a name that I don't even want to say online because I couldn't even find information about this man's family. But I will mention the nuggets that Lisa dropped, and they're probably fucking mad as fuck, but hopefully whoever comes across this video one day can help me put the clues together. Anyway, they get into the Gwen's dad situation because, as we all know, Bronwyn had her daughter by a man who has now passed away from a very affluent, wealthy, powerful couple or family out of the Salt Lake City area. Okay? And so Lisa, Bronwyn, for some reason, sorry, I keep looking at like the recording like to make sure that this bitch is recording. But we discovered that Lisa is shown a picture of Bronwyn's passed away baby daddy. Bronwyn decided to show Lisa, of all people, she's never shown her own husband, anybody else in her life, she showed Lisa Barlow a picture of this man. And Lisa's like, oh my God, I know him, I know his family, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So Bronwyn's secret's out of the bag. Now, Lisa takes it upon herself to go talk to these people. Okay, she talks to these people, is like playing middleman for Bronwyn now, her daughter, her family, and then these people who seem to be just complete shitty fucking people, for the record. Like, tried to, like, I think pay Bronwyn to, like, get rid of her baby, put it up for adoption, like, have an abortion. They tried to, like, really just do some shady shit, right? Okay. So Lisa's playing middleman. She now has this information, and then proceeds on the after show to go and bring up information that Bronwyn had technically filmed, but had asked and was obliged that it was taken out of the season. So who the fuck is Lisa Barlow to just like bring it up, bring it on camera on a national platform, which Bronwyn is telling her, like, you brought this up on national TV, no, this is your 5th season. You know what you're doing. Regardless of anything, you know what you're doing. And Lisa's defending these people. And it's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Because if you remember, Lisa has said on the show and the after show that she reunited her husband with his birth mother and like siblings after the birth mother denied even having him to his siblings. Literally had like, somehow I think the biological dad got there and like called the man like a bastard or said like, fuck you, like I don't want you. So like almost ruined her husband's life again, ruined his psyche again, almost ruined her marriage. So this is like a theme that this woman has, and she did it to Bronwyn and her whole family on national TV. This is what I mean. She's a shit fucking person. And this whole time that Bronwyn is trying to like talk to her, she's just blacking out, can't hear anything, emotionally handicapped. Like, it's just freaking out the whole time. Eventually breaks down to like, I'm sorry that I fuck everything up for you and I make your life hard and I'm like the worst person ever. Bitch, this is literally not about you. It is literally not about you. She seems like the worst person ever in real life. Like, you would have thought you would have learned your lesson from almost ruining your marriage by reuniting your husband with his birth family, and they fucking were awful to him. Awful. So you thought you were going to do this with this other woman and her child? Lisa's trash. She's trash. But as she's freaking out, she like is going around and she's like, it's not about their home or their, what'd she say? She said their home and like something else. She like alluded to something else. Whether it was like the nice things they have or how much like money they have. But it made me think, the way she said their home made it sound like it was a well-known home. I even tried to look up like the top like real estate in Salt Lake City, and they don't even list shit that's not on the market, which I guess makes sense. It might make sense to a lot of people, but usually like, let's say I'm looking at fucking like, I don't know, what, Hollywood, Florida, or just some fucking Boca Raton, like there might be a list of like the most expensive properties or like the biggest like plots. There was nothing. These people I feel like are like wipe the internet rich. I want to know who these people are, because the way Lisa talked and insinuated about their home, it was like the home in Salt Lake City, or like it would have such a feature or amount of features that it would be like an undeniable, almost like a landmark, the way she said it. But I was holding on to every word as she was ranting, because, you know, emotional people, similar to drunk people, will fucking just go, and really, that's the time to listen. It really is. But that was really the climax of this reunion, is this fight. Lisa at one point goes, fuck you to Bronwyn, and she's like, fuck me? So Lisa was just, every time she can make the situation worse, she did. Between telling Bronwyn to fuck you and all this other stuff, Lisa was on a tear, an emotional tear. And it did not stop. And Bronwyn at one point was like, she's not going to get this. She's not going to hear me. Which caused Lisa to freak out too. But Heather's over there whispering just like, she's won, like she has this one, like she's winning this argument, just like tell her you're sorry. Like Lisa's crying about how she's in a lose situation. Bronwyn's like, you don't get it. Meredith is like, I think this is her getting it right now for like the first time, like the impact it has. But Lisa's claiming that everybody's good people, that if they just talk, they could figure it out. At no point does she acknowledge anything Bronwyn's saying. She doesn't take ownership of anything that Bronwyn's saying. So it's like a dub as far as Lisa's concerned. Like, she really, not only did she like lose the argument, more like morally, her morality, her ethics, everything is just fucked. But that's how that all dissolves down. Bronwyn really kind of shut down at the end of it, because Lisa's like, you guys are good people. I want the best for everybody. If you could talk, you would figure it out. You would figure it out. Da, 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 da. The most vague, shallow, basic bitch answer ever. But they end up breaking. It was cute. Mary was like, good job, Andy. And Andy was like, good job to you too, Mary M. Everybody loves Mary. They asked about Robert Jr. at the beginning of this and wished him well. Mary said he was doing well. But they break for lunch. Everybody's talking. This is how I know Heather was hating on Bronwyn the whole time, especially about the Rihanna shit, because Heather thought she was special getting that treatment her first season. She was talking about Bronwyn and how Bronwyn is like acting, and she always gives her this like old like British madam like voice. Heather's a hater. The husbands are talking. Todd is throwing shade, talking about Lisa and John can sit in their jazz booth without having to fucking, or their box seats, without having to do anything weird for it. They're all just recapping. The girls are recapping, talking about one another. The husbands come back. Todd has his moment to start with, because they are talking about his relationship. They have a little package about their marriage. And he's talking about Lisa. John Barlow, who can't even hug his wife while she's crying because he doesn't want to ruin her makeup. They are fucking weird. I dare my spouse, when I ever get one, to not hug me for any fucking reason when I'm upset. I don't care if I was on fire, bitch, we're on fire. Give me a hug. I mean, have an extinguisher nearby, but like, we're married, death do us part. No, you're hugging me too. Fuck my makeup. But they're weird, like I said. But he decides he's going to tell Todd to watch his tone. I guess making up a year later for the fact that he got bitched on the vacation. John, you're not scary. You're not cute. You need to chill. You look dusty. But yeah, that was really the reunion in a nutshell. A lot fucking happened. I can't believe I was going to just like, I guess, skip over this in my head. But that was my clunkety in my mind review of the first episode of the reunion. They did highlight John Barlow's parallel parking non-expertise, which was funny too, but that is how it ended. So please, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you enjoy the rest of my content. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you soon for something else.